Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we finally get to talk about the new Salvage event for Surcouf. This is going to go live on February 4th in just a couple of days if you're watching this video on its release day. And we got some new ships available, although some of them we have seen before. Colona, Nari, which we're playing here today, Zarya S, and of course Surcouf are going to be available in this Salvage. If you're wondering, this Salvage is going to be for coal as well as epic and rare economic bonuses. That's blue and red boosters. Wargaming tends to not give those out very often, so I'm going to make the assumption that most of you are going to be spending exclusively coal on this Salvage. If you have some boosters to spend, great, you can go for that as well to reduce the coal cost, but I'm going to treat the math here. We're going to break this all down based on only using coal here. And if this is your first Salvage event, or if you just need a little reminder on how these work, it's trading in-game resources for ships sequentially here. So to gain these bundles, there's going to be 100 stages total, and each ship is going to be at a different stage, progressively getting much more expensive. Surcouf is at the 95th stage, so you're gonna have to get basically the entire way through this one. At 45 stages, you can find Zarya S, 24 stages in, you'll get Nari, and 12 stages in, you're going to get Colona. That is going to be the most interesting one as far as getting it out of this event, in my opinion. It gets progressively more expensive. The way it works here is 16,000 coal is going to get you one progress stage. So to get the whole event, yes, that is 1.6 million coal you're going to need if you want to buy this completely outright. Fortunately, I don't think you have to. I'm not particularly interested in Surcouf, so we're not going to cover it here. I never really cover carriers and subs if you guys are new here. You can find that elsewhere on YouTube or on Twitch, that for example. We cover the surface ships. So Nari is going to be the first one we're covering, as it is a new one. Colona and Zarya S were previously featured in a Blue Archive collab, so I've actually played those before. I'll throw up the thumbnails and link them in the description below if you can't wait a couple of days for those refreshed videos to come out. So if you want to get Colona, you are going to need to get through the first two stages to get the bonus package, so that is 32,000 coal. Colona is a further 10 stages from that, so 12 total, for 192,000 coal, or 160k more coal than the previous stage. As a reminder, for coal ships in the Armory, tier 7s go for around 75k coal, average tier 8s go for 110k coal, average tier 9s go for 180k coal, and tier 10s go for around 260k coal. So Colona being 192,000 is quite a bit more than we would see for a standard release in the Armory. However, they don't release very many coal ships these days now, do they? I think that for 192,000 coal, Colona is excellent. If you're wanting to get a single ship or you're debating even participating in this event at all, I think for 192,000 coal, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Colona is a very fun brawler with battle cruiser dispersion. I'm excited to take a look at it again, but you should know that I think is the highlight of this Salvage. It may be called the Surcouf Salvage, but in my opinion, Colona is the highlight here. Now, to get Nari, that is going to be a further 12 stages after you get Colona. So that's 24 stages total, resulting in, if you just wanted Nari outright and you didn't care about the bonus package, you didn't care about Colona, the equivalent cost is 384,000 coal. That's rather expensive for a tier 8. Now you are getting 2 tier 8s total in there because there is Colona if you're interested in that, but not everybody is interested in battleships or brawling style battleships. So at extra 192,000 coal on top of the Colona makes it a little bit of a steeper buy, but this one you may be interested in if you're a Tiger 59 fan. Looking at you, Maltese Knight. This ship is essentially giving up the radar on Tiger 59 to gain some consistency with its shell type. Gaining HE is quite nice, allowing you to deal better damage into angled targets, as well as lighting fires. We get a really extreme engine boost here, actually. 30% engine boost for 90 seconds. Your maneuverability is crazy with that up. Without it, though, you do actually miss out on the built-in acceleration that a lot of the British light cruisers have. So without this engine boost up, it is extremely sluggish. It's going to be one of my main complaints, actually, is the maneuverability of this ship without that engine boost. It feels quite weird to play, and I eat the torp there. Really shouldn't have, but it was my first game trying to figure out the way this ship performs. We also get a nice 5.5 kilometer hydro. That is nice to have, although missing out on a 9 kilometer radar feels pretty bad. We get Pan-Asian smokes instead of British smokes, and I think that's a good thing overall. We do get one less of them, as well as one less super heal. Tiger 59 does not have the best DPM. It uses its radar to gain battle impact. And so now having a ship that loses the utility and doesn't really gain that much in DPM, it's questionable. We'll talk more about that later. Let's keep going over the Surcouf salvage event though. 384k coal is where we left off with getting Nari. If you want to go to Zarya S, which is kind of like an up-tiered Vladivostok, it's been improved in a few ways to go up to tier 9, but it really wasn't my favorite. I really did enjoy playing Colona though, and Nari, as we'll see, is a little bit underwhelming, shall we say. So really, Colona is looking like the best option here. If you do want to go up to Zarya S though, that one is another 21 stages on top of getting Nari. So 45 stages total means 720,000 coal. That is getting up there in price. That is very, very expensive. I think that's around the price that original defense was in its salvage. That was the Kitakami salvage back in 2023. That ship is now re-released for coal for a little over 400,000 coal now. And that's still a lot, right? So a tier 9 Vladdy with some small tweaks here. 720,000 coal is a little too much for that, in my opinion. We'll talk about that one more in its own dedicated video, but this one gets very expensive as you go up through these stages, as it usually does with these salvages. Surcouf then, at the very end, 95 stages total, another 50 after you get Zarya S. That's going to be 1.52 million coal, or 1,520,000 coal. Another 800,000 on top of getting Zarya S. So very, very expensive to get Surcouf. Again, I'm not terribly interested in subs or carriers in this game. Really not a fan of them at all. So you can find some information on that ship elsewhere. And that's pretty much all the information that I have on this event to go over, outside of an option if you want to. I don't know why you would, but you could trade 100 steel for 1,000 coal if you really wanted to. Although I think most people are going to be pretty dry on steel, as that recent steel fleet event got you Hawaii and Bremen. Most people should be getting those ships. Much stronger, much better ships than we see here in this salvage. So probably not worth trading the steel if you have some. And now that we've seen this whole event and the resource cost, again, I think Colona is easily the best part about this salvage. If you got 200,000 or so coal, it is well worth getting yourself a Colona. They have not said if these ships will come back or not. I really hope that they do. They love their FOMO though, unfortunately. So if you do like a ship from this salvage event, it is probably worth picking up, as it might be a few years, if at all, they come back. Colona is definitely the best option. It's not too much more than a standard coal ship at tier 8, and it is certainly a very unique playstyle. Nari here for 384,000 coal total to get this one is a bit of a steep ask. I'm not a big fan of Tiger 59 up front. We gotta recognize that. I don't enjoy that ship very much at all. I don't really like ships that have very low DPM in exchange for their utility. And Nari exchanges the utility for not more DPM, but just getting HE. That does not seem so good to me. I really also did not enjoy playing with this engine boost instead of the built-in acceleration. This engine boost lasts quite a while, but I so often while playing found it on cooldown when I needed it most. Perhaps that is skill issue, just resource management, but found it a little bit frustrating to use. This ship has a rather large citadel, so the thought of open water gun... I mean, we should have died here, to be honest with you. I don't know how I didn't die there sooner. The thought of open water gunboating with this engine boost feels very weird to me. We also get one less smoke base than we get on Tiger 59. So it's a very, very strange proposition. One less heal as well, unfortunately. So we're giving up quite a lot to Tiger 59, a ship I don't really enjoy that much, to gain high explosive. And that HE has 173,000 HE DPM, which is fine for a tier 8 cruiser. But you're often fighting into up tiers, unfortunately. And a lot of ships have much higher DPM, things like Cleveland, for example. The other problem with this high explosive is its fire chance. It's like they built in IFHE. It doesn't, by the way. It's 30 mil pen, like most 152 millimeter main guns at this tier with HE. But the fire chance here being at 7% base really makes me feel like they just cut the fire chance in half of what it was supposed to be. Things like Cleveland and Bayard and Chapayev, Kutuzov are all up at 12%. Fire chance. Even things like Ochakov are at 12%. Belfast 43, 11%. A lot of ships have that 10% plus fire chance at this tier. And some of those even have radar utility. Now, they don't have heals. They don't have super healing. They don't have smokes. That is the redeeming factor here. But we're losing a lot of DPM versus those ships, and we're losing fire chance. And this ship does not retain the radar utility. It's a very weird one. We give up radar utility off of the Tiger 59, but we don't gain really anything in DPM. We gain some consistency against angled targets thanks to high explosive. But you're still going to want to swap over to the AP the instant someone goes broadside, because your AP is just way higher DPM already. 248,000 AP DPM versus that 173,000. It does not have improved pen angles either, nor does it have short fuses, nor does it have small fusing thresholds like we see on Tiger 59. It's very standard 152 millimeter AP. So it's not going to pen nearly as much, which is fine, but that's really not a great trade-off in my opinion versus Tiger 59, unfortunately. And something I found while playing with this ship is it does extremely poorly with enemy teams that can rush you. Now, it needs to have an enemy team that pushes in, because chasing anyone in a smoke farming cruiser is just not going to go well. But you also can't have the enemy team push too much, okay? Because this ship does not have any torpedoes, and it does not have the DPM to burst anyone down before they actually just rush into your smoke fire detect, which is 5.5 kilometers. It matches your hydro, so it's not like a destroyer can sit within your smoke fire detect without getting hydroed back. That is kind of nice. But I found with that Prince Eugen that I just really wanted to have a little bit more DPM to take him out before he can rush down my smoke screen. Or perhaps torpedoes. This is also a weakness of Tiger 59, by the way, but it's a little bit more understandable in that case because you have a radar. You have that incredible utility to bring to your team. Not so here. We're going to be a little bit harsher on this ship and its damage output, because really that is all this ship brings, is 2 Minotaur turrets with some HE. And that's not a lot of battle impact. It was very challenging for me to rack up any sort of high damage games. I really felt like this ship just took forever to farm any sort of damage, even against its own tier and below. I was quite disappointed. Maybe I have been spoiled by a lot of the new stuff coming in, things like Hawaii, throwing things off, Bremen, that kind of thing. Those are obviously many tiers higher. But even recently, for a ship request, I played with Maya, which is a lower tier, tier 7 heavy cruiser, and I found the damage output just so much more consistent. Yeah, we reload quickly, but these shells really don't do a lot. When they hit, could be my aim. All right, fair enough. Haven't played with these kind of guns in a while, so could be my aim, certainly. But I don't think this is a very good trade at all, giving up our radar versus a Tiger 59. A ship that, I gotta be honest, I just really don't like at tier 8 either. I don't find it to be that good at all. And this ship is just kind of an okay side grade at best, I would say, for, let me remind you, 384,000 total coal in this salvage. Yeah, it's the Colona salvage. It's not the Surcouf salvage. It's not the Nari salvage. It is the Colona salvage. In my opinion, this event is just purely about the very first ship you have a chance to get, and the rest are just way too expensive for quite vanilla, okay surface ships. They're just fine. Nari and Zarya S, and of course, like I said, I just don't really have a lot of interest in submarines, so I'm not really going to be covering that here. Now, I already mentioned the acceleration difference being a massive penalty here, but the turning circle radius, as a refresher on Tiger 59, is 590 meters. Crazy short turning circle radius here. And I think that's why it just slows down so much the instant you touch your rudder. Without the engine boost up and your full rudder, you go down below 25 knots of speed. It's so slow. And with the engine boost up, it drops just around 30 knots. The engine boost speed, top speed, gets you up to 40 knots, which is pretty cool, but it just loses so much speed the instant it corners. That ability to drift or have full engine power, whatever the British light cruisers have, is extremely important and is massive for their maneuverability and trying to dodge. When you slow down so much, you can dodge the first salvo, and that's about it. It also means you're not really able to get out of bad situations. Now, I'm going to speed this one up a little bit at the very end here, but let's say we're not playing against tier 7s and older tier 7s at that. What if we play against the new stuff? Because let's be honest, tier 8 is often going to be up tiered these days. That's the vibe that I get anytime I'm playing a tier 8. I'm often into tier 9, certainly into tier 10 games as well. What happens when you run into a Valparaiso? Bro, I bet I could shoot at a Valparaiso for the full 20 minutes and I would never do the required 240,000 damage to actually take him out through all of his heals. Oh, what's this rushing us? Oh, it's a Hawaii. Bro, it was so sad playing this match. I was so sad. It's really funny looking back on this because what do? Like, this is just straight up, you're dead. There is nothing to be done. There is no counterplay. There's no, oh, I could have. No, you're just dead here. Sure, I could have played further back, but then that's just electing to not play the game, right? I don't know. And then this last clip, again, up tiered. Let's farm a Montana. Let's do it. We got an opportunity here. I don't know, man. This is not a good ship at all. I do not like this thing. I would have loved to see faster reload. Maybe you could have kept some more smokes. Having 6 engine boosts, something like that, is kind of wild when you only get 2 base heals and 2 base smokes. Really makes me think they wanted you to do the open water gunboat thing, but then it loses so much speed in the turns that it doesn't really feel like it can do the open water gunboat thing that easily. Massively exposed Citadel. The other problem being our firing angles here too. This is an issue with Tiger 59 as well, but 25-degree forward angles is great. 35-degree rear firing angles is quite painful. The heals are very nice to have when you have such an exposed Citadel, and you do actually heal back a lot of that Citadel damage, which is great, but it's still just not a good... Where taking damage is our key feature here. And we slowly can try to burn down. I mean, I was getting so few fires, guys. It was really quite sad to be trying to farm these battleships and just never getting a fire. 7% fire. At least give me a 10% fire chance here. Something. Otherwise, it just feels like I may as well be in Tiger 59 with way better AP and the ability to use my radar to impact the battle. Here, I'm just a bad DPM ship at tier 8. I'm like tier 7 level DPM fighting against these tier 10s. And yeah, we get a heal and yeah, we get smokes. That is something that a lot of cruisers at this tier don't have. But I find myself wishing for much higher DPM, much more ability to impact the battle with the main guns, and maybe let me try to survive a little bit more on my own, that kind of thing. If you're struggling with cruisers, maybe this is a good option for you to have such a toolkit. You won't have as much impact with the main guns, but maybe you'll be able to live longer because of the smokes, because of the heals. That is a good option for you then. But I find myself, I don't struggle quite so much with that, and I would rather have the higher DPM. I mean, it took so long to even get some of these 80k damage games, guys. I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments below about this one. Certainly the salvage event here. I like the events when they do let us trade resources for newer ships. That's why I absolutely love the trade-in event. They haven't done one of those in a while, but trading in old premiums for new ones. Here you have an option, if you have a ton of coal saved up, to really just get yourself a Colona and get out. I don't know, maybe I am being too hard on this ship because, let's be honest, a lot of these mid-tier cruisers really just do explode and they have no healing. This ship has really amazing concealment when you fully build for it. Towards the end, I was just getting so tired of doing 0 damage. I went full lighthouse build here. yeah, it still didn't do a lot of damage there. But when we fully build for that conceal, we get down below 10-kilometer detect, which is what I was running for some of those earlier matches. I mean, 9.2 detect is very good, okay? The 7.8 second rudder shift is a little better than the Tiger 59s. You just slow down so much in the turn. The instant you touch your rudder, it's a bit like if you have the premium from the second Christmas Battle Pass, Lanzhou, I believe. That one slows down like crazy in a turn. And this one feels a bit like that, except I don't know. It just did not feel very comfortable to play like that at all. Having the smokes is nice. Having the engine boost is nice, certainly. It's a very powerful engine boost, as well as super healing. We get 3 super heals here. But when you just don't have any damage output to impact the battle, it feels bad. For someone like me, it feels bad, okay? And no torps at all means, man, getting rushed down from behind some of these islands, people pushing my smokes and that, and I just have these measly little guns. I don't know. Here is our armor, 27 deck armor. Yeah, we do get overmatched pretty much everywhere. 25 though means that a lot of the heavy cruisers can't just overmatch through us. That is a key benefit. When we look at standard British light cruisers, you know, they get 16 millimeters. So suddenly it's like 240 millimeters. Henry guns I think of as the cutoff of being able to overmatch this, overmatch Minotaurs, for example. It is a nice benefit, and this is something that Tiger 59 also has. But for me, again, I wish it was a little harder to play, and then, you know, it didn't have some of these tools for survivability, and instead just gave me even more DPM. Here's our Citadel well above water. A lot of the time, that extra armor, some of that extra healing just won't matter that much because the lower base HP and a very, very exposed Citadel. So it's very easy to get one shot in a ship like this one, especially if your engine boost is down. But that's going to be it on Nari. This is the new surface ship that we have not seen before in the Surcouf Salvage event. Very interesting to have a salvage again. As I said, definitely Colona is the best part about this salvage. The rest feels a little too expensive for me. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.